Okay, so I did decide to go ahead and add some elements on top now that we have kind of um, an arrangement. I just was listening to it and sounded a little bit empty to me, and definitely there's room for some more. So the beat was not quite complete, even though someone could write to it because the real foundation was there. I kind of slept on it, listened to it again this morning, and I was like, well, I really don't feel like I felt like I missed just a small piece. So I'm gonna just kind of play with it and see if I come up with anything different. So I did add another instance of this Key Zone Classic, which is our piano. So I'll go ahead and pull that up so you can see what that looks like. So this is the Keyzone Classic, and I haven't even really touched any of the settings or anything like that on it. I'm just using the regular piano, but there's a Yamaha Grand, there's a Steinway, there's an EP, there's a Rhodes. They all sound pretty good, so I dig them all. So I tend to use this piano quite a bit in my production. I have a couple different ones, but this one's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and um, I kind of looped it again in the beginning. I also turned the loop on once again because I'll just play with the loop and then I'll just take this and put it in the sections where I want it. So I'll just see if I come up with some things that are going to work for kind of like more melody on top of the chords that we put down before. So let's roll with that, right? Let's see. See here. It's not playing because we've got that. When that record gets armed, it doesn't want to play. So just start again. Let's see. Probably not. I think the rest are solo too. So I'm gonna play with that and see what we kind of come up with. So let's hit this here. Okay, so let's put that to work a little bit here. Just gonna go into the MIDI. And that's typically what I'll do. You can hear, I don't know if you guys can hear the latency um, there as I'm playing or just as you're kind of watching the video. But that latency does exist because I've turned the buffer up so high just to give us the ability to not have so many dropouts. But that's kind of what happens. So then you end up going in. I end up having to do this anyway, going in and fixing some of these, some of the notes anyway. So that's not something that's abnormal. I'll go ahead and fix that. Of course, unless you have like a MIDI controller or something like that, it might be a little bit different. But I don't have one. Like I explained that in the first part of the video that got that lost. But I don't use a MIDI controller at this point. So these do have to move over. So I think this belongs all the way over here. Not sure where that second section goes, but let's try this and let's see. Okay, so this is going to have to move too, I believe. So let's take this and move it. I don't know if this, let's see if this is going to go here or what we're going to do with that. Okay, that's what I want. little bit of melody kind of going already. It's just kind of we'll play around with that and see if anything else fits. Let's see here. Let's maybe got everything kind of soloed into this. Oops. I'm going to take all of those solos off. It's not really necessary at this point to be soloed out. So let's go here and play with the MIDI a little bit and see what we get. Okay. This dropout is pretty fierce right now. Let's go here. I do want to go in and I do want to turn this down a little bit. I'll drop it just a bit just to so it's not killing our ears here. Alright, let's take a look. Oops. Okay, so we're probably going to use that. I don't know, I'm just going to kind of randomly put some of these in here and then just kind of determine what we want to do with them. See what they sound like just in just ordinary random plays. This maybe sounds like that's a little bit, that's maybe over here. Let's go here. Okay. Let's see what these are like back to back. These two. Okay. Leave that halfway there. I don't know if this is going to stay that long like that. And then maybe we'll just kind of play with it a little bit. I want it to be a little more busy on the end. Seems like it's a little more busy in the beginning, and maybe that's not what I want. Maybe I want it a little less less busy in the beginning and then more busy on the end. Okay, so this was a little different. Maybe I don't want it to wait so much. Maybe it should come in over here. Okay, it's not terrible. Let's go here. Okay, so maybe this is something different too. Uh-oh, I want to take it all out here. Sometimes I have to be careful with that, what's selected, what's actually selected. I don't know if it's like this, and then halfway over here. Let's see what happens. Let's see. This one sits back a little bit, so maybe that's why it sounded a little different. So let's pull this up a little bit. Okay, so let's see, what does this sound like here? Oops, let's see, let's drop out, skip them up right here a little bit. Okay, let's see, what does this sound like here if we kind of play with this? Let's take a look at what we got here. This is dB8. Let's go to 9. Maybe it's this. So it can be simple like that. It's pretty simple melody. I'm gonna go ahead and record that down. And then I want to see what it sounds like. Let's do this. We'll see what it sounds like once it actually hits the rest of the song. Okay, so I recorded that down. This is actually part of some of what I did in the first video as well. So you'll actually get to see this at least for one track. So typically what I'll do is I'll kind of let it loop through. It'll loop through a little bit, and then once I cut it off, I'll go ahead and bounce that to clip so these two separate parts here can actually become one. Then what I will do is I will separate the audio track from the MIDI. Right now you can see this is our MIDI track on 16, on 15 this is our audio. You're going to see this icon right here actually change when I do this. So let me go here. Here's our input from the Keyzone Classic. It's coming in from there. I'm going to change that to none. You're going to notice this icon changes over to audio, right? So now I can actually take this. This is a folder here. This is a track folder. So these two tracks are within this Keyzone Classic track folder. What I typically would do is take these, the actual audio out. I'll just kind of slide it out up with the other audio. And then I'll go ahead and mute the MIDI. If I leave the audio in that attached to the MIDI, it's gonna solo and mute the audio at the same time and leave the MIDI in there. And I don't need that because I don't want to duplicate the audio that I'm hearing, especially when I'm mixing. So let me go ahead and save really quick. But I don't want to keep that audio in there duplicated because it's going to sound louder than what it really should be. And if I'm not doing that for everything, or if there's not a special purpose for that, then there's no reason for me to have it like that. So let me actually take this. I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna paste this out over the track. So let's go here. Let's make sure we're on whole. I'm gonna set this right at 5, bar 5, and then we're gonna go ahead and paste this in. Remember last time we did like 20 something, right? We did like 27 or whatever. We're on track 11, so we're going to use that as our starting track. I think you guys saw that before. So, and I cut a bunch off, so maybe let's go like 15 repetitions. Leave everything else the same, and that's going to like drop this in throughout the track. We didn't get quite as much as what we needed, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 or so there. So let's go ahead and paste this in a few times here. So you can actually paste it like this, or you can do the paste special again. I'll just kind of paste them in right now because it's not that many of them. Let's see, we'll paste this here. We're gonna have to cut it because it was longer. That's pretty easy. You just kind of drag it from the end. Let's see what we get now. One thing I can do is turn off some of these instruments themselves. So that sometimes saves you some CPU and all that when you're working, and maybe probably even some of your disk as well. The usage on it, on your system, especially if you don't have a really powerful system like this one, is, well, not that this one is powerful, but this one is not powerful, so I have to resort to other little things. So let's go down to, under our views, we have a synth rack view. And so these are hanging out over here. So sometimes you can actually go ahead and turn these off, and it helps you. So let's try, like, let's take this first Keyzone Classic. Let's kill that. I'm not going to delete the associated tracks. I'm going to go ahead and just delete that. I'll just go down the list and delete them. It's keeping the MIDI because I'm not deleting the associated track. So it's definitely keeping the MIDI. I'll show you that. So I'm not losing the MIDI. I would just have to load these racks again. I mean these VSTs again if I wanted to use them. But it's keeping the MIDI. So I'll go ahead and open this so you can see that. I'm opening the folder for the Keyzone Classic. Here's my MIDI. It's just the project itself just doesn't have the VST in it anymore. So maybe that will help us too with some of the dropouts or whatever. So let me go ahead and save that. I'm going to turn the loop off, and then I'm going to play this and then just kind of decide where I want that melody to be, because I don't want it to be throughout the whole track. This is something that I can play at different points in time. Maybe it's something kind of in the hook and then sparsely even in the verses. Maybe gives the other verse, the second verse, a different flavor. I'll play with the volume since we kind of mixed everything else already, and I'll just kind of blend it in. The bus D as well, and just see what comes out of it. This is like something that happens in my neighborhood. This guy comes up the stairs of the building and he sells, I think he sells like sandwiches, like breakfast type sandwich type things, which is really kind of different than what's in the US. He also sells like cakes and things like that. So it's not uncommon for people to come through and do that. It's a little early this morning. No, it's actually 8:30 in the morning. So so he's doing his thing. So you guys can probably hear that. There's another guy, he sells like the gas for your stove, because most of the stoves here are going to be gas based. So he comes through and they basically just yell out. They're just hustling, to make a living. So, I can't fault them for that. It's just funny, to me. What the other guy, the other guy kind of has like a song that he does kind of thing. He like, his chant is like a song or something. So I think it's cooler than this guy. This guy's new. That's kind of life here, and these are things that you will deal with. Like if you're having a recording session, you definitely want, you want to be mindful of the surroundings and the environment that you're in, because then you have things like this going on all the time in like the favelas. So there's always a lot of noise. There's always a lot of stereo systems. I don't know where they get these stereo systems or whatever, but is like a club, like, and then there'll be like four of them going at the same time, and you'll be hearing music from all different places or whatever. But especially at night, they tend to like to party on the weekends and things like that. So last night was really quiet though. They shut down pretty early. I think even before 12 o'clock, which is strange. And sometimes they just go all night. So it's all right. Let's get back to this. Let's kind of see where we are here. Maybe in the beginning. Let's see what happens if maybe we'll take this triple cheese. Maybe we'll mute that in the beginning and just see what we got here. Let's see. So we'll take that triple cheese out for one measure. So by adding the melody, now we have something a little bit on top, and we can actually play a little bit with the other sounds as well, as far as like bringing them in or taking them out. It just gives us another element to kind of play with. So we're going to kind of leave this like this. Let me hear this going into verse, how that sounds. How it kind of lets go. It's got that heavy melody, and then all of a sudden it really lets go into the verse. So let me go over here to the second verse, and let's see here. Maybe we're going to leave the melody for the first set of bars there. We'll take it out for the second one. And I want to leave it here. Maybe we'll leave it for these two here, at least for just for now. Maybe we'll take this out. What will it be like if we take out the keys here, and then maybe we take out the triple cheese for at least maybe like half. That's all I do. I just really experiment with it and just see what happens. So let's play that and see what it sounds like. So I think what I'm gonna do, maybe we'll drop this out. We'll kind of play that way again. So let's play it in the beginning like that, because the dropout is really kind of severe. So I don't want it to sound like weird coming in the second time. Let's do it from the beginning of that verse, and then have the piano kind of come in, the triple cheese come in, and then drop out again, and then we can get back into it here. And then maybe we'll do something here as well. So I like it. I don't think I like it. So did break it out. I'm really not feeling it. It just seems like it got really empty for me. So maybe what it is, maybe we'll take out this triple cheese here, and maybe it's something like this. I think we do need that underlying. We do need the underlying keys. I'm gonna take out the melody keys, just kind of go with it as it kind of was. Maybe what we can do is chop this Keyzone Classic out here on the end, kind of where this break in the drums are. Maybe we chop this out. Let's chop out the bass line. Go down to my eighths. Chop out the bass line a little bit, at least at the end. Let's see what that kind of sounds like through the bass. That. I like what I got so far. Actually probably stay there like that little piece on the end, but I'm gonna just chop it for now. It's all right. Okay, that works for me. Let's see how this breakdown kind of goes here. I think we just cut the bass out. I think it's going to work there. Let's see. Get the right tool here. Just kind of chop the drums out randomly during that section and see what happens. Drop this kick out a little bit here again. Maybe even the snares too. Then on the second one, let it play a little bit. Let that hit there. That's good. Let's do this. And let's see, I think we already have kind of a breakout here. Let's maybe take this out. Just want those two out. not gonna be real too picky with it. I think that's gonna work out fine. There's probably some areas where maybe the artist might feel like it fits a little better to take out some certain things or maybe add certain things back in. Maybe like a kick here or there, um, or something with the snare or the hats or whatever. I just want it to be enough of a breakdown where they know that that breakdown is there when they're writing to the beat. That's pretty much what I'm doing. And because everything is kind of looped, it's real easy to add things back in. You can take the whole loop and put it right back in that space, and then chop it how they want. I really don't want to make that decision as a permanent decision for the engineer, for the producer who's working with the artist, or for the artist themselves to make that decision. I don't want that to be a decision that I've actually made during the production phase that they can't undo. So I'm gonna save it again, and I'm glad that you guys got a chance to see that. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video here. Thanks definitely for checking out this portion of it. Definitely check out the rest of the shows. We're still waiting on the producers to kind of come through with their interviews. We're waiting on track reviews. If you want your track reviewed on the show, we can actually get that done for you as well. I want to do, a number. I want to do up to like 3 of those shows a week. Those do cost because it's, there's so many artists. There's a lot more artists, I think, than there are producers or whatever. And there's a lot of producers who are, wanting their beats heard and things like that. So if you want your track with vocals heard, we can do that. If you want to just do your production track, we can do that, and just kind of analyze a little bit of what's going on in each one and give you a fair review on it as well. So thanks for tuning in with me. Once again, my name is Derek, aka Knock Rio, for the producer review tutorials. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, so thanks for bearing with me through all of that. Okay, cool. We'll see you soon. Ciao.